Welcome, guys. Welcome. Today, we're going to talk about how to heal yourself. And this is a popular topic for 2024. A lot of people are struggling with healing themselves and going through the journey myself. I've learned several different things that have been helpful towards me. And I think it's important for a lot of people to understand when they approach healing themselves. Most people don't understand that, hey, like healing yourself includes going through everything about your life, getting to know yourself at the best of your ability, right? Digging deeper more than ever before. If you go to the therapist, most of the questions they ask you, it's like, well, they're about yourself. And in order to heal you, you need to understand everything about you. And you got to understand what really hurt you in the first place. And there could be several things. It could be a comment that a coach made when you were young. It could be the first rejection that you experienced in middle school, elementary. It could be the first betrayal that you experienced by your friend or your girlfriend, if they were cheating on you. Whatever the case might be, it could be the first love. It could be your own parents. It could be your own cousins. It could be your siblings. Like there's so many things that happen throughout our life, and it's hard to keep a track of all of those things because we don't journal, and we don't really pay attention to the things that hurt us, and we think that, oh, it's okay, we're going to recover. And it's like physical wounds recover easier than mental wounds, right? Emotional wounds are much deeper. They're inside you, they're touching your soul, they're part of you for life. And so, how do you really heal from everything that you've been through in your life? And so, where do you start? Who, where do you learn to go do that? And who can you be honest about with whatever it is that you're going through without them judging you for it, or manipulating you, or selling you something, or using it against you at some point down the line? So these are the tough challenges that prevents humanity and society from healing. And we're conditioned to say, oh, well, we're going to get over it. Well, you don't really get over it, do you? Because if you did, then you wouldn't need to do drugs. You wouldn't need to, have codependency on people. You wouldn't need attention and validation to confirm what you're doing is okay, because you should know what's okay and what's not naturally. And so all of these things lead us to one thing, is that we need to heal ourselves. And in order to heal ourselves, there are numerous things that we're going to have to do to start the process. And first thing is that first we got to find out what's really hurting us. Have you pictured or imagined, have you just had a conversation sometimes and the way people come across just rubs you the wrong way? It irritates you somehow. It frustrates you. It makes you feel like, damn, fuck this guy, fuck this girl, I don't want to listen to these people. This is bullshit. All of this crap, right? And so these negative emotions rise within us, and anger, irritation, frustration, anxiety, restlessness, guilt, shame, embarrassment, despair. All of these things are signs that something within us is hurting. And that's why we don't feel good. We don't feel good in that atmosphere. We don't feel good around people. Like we shouldn't be afraid of people. At the end of the day, people are people. You're a person, and human beings are human beings. And sometimes they make mistakes. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're bad. We all have the good and evil within us, including ourselves. And so, how do we really heal from everything that we've been through? And this is the most important thing that they don't teach us in the mental health industry. They definitely don't teach us this in school. Our family members never asked themselves these questions because they were constantly working and paying the bills and trying to keep up with the Joneses or whatever it might be. But they're not paying attention to what's going on inside them because we're too busy paying attention to what's going on outside of us. We're too distracted. We're spread thin, from social media to family to friends to work to dreams to goals to aspirations, insecurity, fears, God, you name it. And it's just like there's so many things that are going on in our life. How do you keep a track of all of that? Not to mention bills, finances, stress, debt, car payments, appearance, competition, comparison. Man, you just keep adding to the list as to what's normal and what's not normal anymore. And the only normal thing you should be worried about is concentrating on you. Look, at the end of the day, regardless of whatever your situation is, whatever you're going through, we just got to focus on you. Like, hey, my girlfriend treated me bad today. Okay, well, focus on yourself. Hey, this customer treated me bad today. Hey, well, focus on yourself. Hey, my family member treated me bad today. Hey, well, focus on yourself. And so at the end of the day, focusing on ourselves is way more important than anything else. It's like, hey, the guy next door bought a house. That's great. Focus on yourself. And we call this minding our own business in our societal language. But yeah, mind your own business, and your own business should be not what you're gonna accumulate, but how you really feel about yourself, right? How do you really feel about the decisions that you're making? How do you really feel about what it is that you're doing in your life and why it is that you're doing in your life? How do you feel about accepting yourselves, the good, the bad, the ugly, the mistakes, the pain, the shame, the guilt, the embarrassment? How do you feel about forgiving yourself for all the mistakes that you made, for all the people that you hurt, all the times you hurt yourself, wrong decisions, failures, so many other things? So the healing journey and the healing process is not simple. And the mental health industry is not focused on you healing because they want you to be in that chair so you could be the customer for life. This is a great place for you to be, for them to collect insurance, for them to keep taking money every time you go see them, for them to support your unhealthy lifestyle so you could end up in another part of the healthcare system. Nonetheless, it's all institutional based. So how do you really escape the matrix? In order to escape the matrix, you got to heal yourself. Again, this is the most important thing that you're ever going to do in your life. This is bigger than a degree. This is bigger than getting married. This is bigger than buying your first house. This is bigger than any kind of check that you're going to get, because this is all about you and your soul, and you only have one of those. This is about you living up to your maximal potential. You only have one life. This is about you putting yourself and your goals and dreams above all the distractions and all the trauma and all the pain and all the disappointment and everything else that has happened throughout the course of your life. So I ask you, like, what is it going to take for you to start your healing journey? And who are you going to ask for help, or how are you going to go about it? Because everybody pretends like they know how to heal themselves. So yeah, like most people's technique of healing themselves is passing on the pain, passing the bucket on to the next person. What I'm saying by that is that, like, most people don't heal. They just recover enough for them to run again, or walk again, right? Most people aren't running in their life anymore. They're not going at the speed that they want to. They're not accomplishing, achieving at the rate that they want to. What they're doing is coping. They're just surviving. What they're doing is, this is enough, this is good enough for me, right? Settling. They're not really focused on healing. They're not focused on thriving. They're not focused on living their life, because they feel like they're gonna fall behind. They're gonna fall behind in the rat race. They're gonna fall behind in chasing the clout. They're gonna fall behind with their friends and family members. They have to keep up an image and appearance. They gotta, all of these things are preventing us from becoming who we're supposed to be. All of these things are preventing us from living the life we were meant to lead. Like, if you think about it, the conversation that you had with the universe or God or whatever you might believe in, it's like before you came on this planet, before you were, your soul, right, came into this planet, it came with a purpose. It wasn't just to say, I'm going to consume, fornicate, and I'm going to repeat that cycle, and I'm going to keep doing it till I die. And it just seems like such a meaningless life. And it's so depressing, and it's so alone right now, especially with social media taking off the way it is. especially with everything that's going on in the world, especially with the economy, the US regulations, gender confusions. There's just so many different things that's just showing us that everything around us is falling apart, right? Nothing is intact. And 2024 is that year to rebuild, right? The more work you're going to put into yourself, the more you're going to do your best to heal yourself. You got to sacrifice some to gain a lot more, right? No pain, no gain, they say, right? And so if you think about it from that perspective, like every single pain and every single thing that you went through in your life was to help you gain. Okay, so was to help you get ahead. And it's the same thing this year if you really focus on healing yourself. And healing yourself hurts. Like imagine if you broke a leg, it's going to take you 6 months, a year to kind of recover from that. And even that at that point, you're not going to play basketball like the way you were before this. You're not going to run the same way that you were before that. You're not going to be feeling comfortable about joining a marathon like you did when you were 100% healthy. Shit, let alone like you're not going to feel good about running a marathon at age 40 as you did when you were 18 or 21, just because your agility, your stamina, a lot of stuff has changed and it has slowed you down. And the same thing with us. The more trauma we take on, the more pain we get through, the more people that we are exposed to, more experiences that we go through. All of this subjects us to some wear and tear, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, in all aspects. And we don't seem to have time to take care of these things. So eventually people have a breakdown, right? You heard about mental breakdowns, you heard about emotional breakdown, emotional outbursts, volcanic eruptions. You think about people's backs breaking, you think about people's um, health deteriorating substantially. You see people change genders, you see people just give up on God, you see people being hopeless, people turn pessimistic, people are cynical. So all of these signs are representation of what has happened in your life and all the experiences that you have been through that has made you fail, that has led you to toxic behavior. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. It's just a fact, right? And I even went through all of that